Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, their 2024 season is over. We all saw it at the hands of Atlanta United. A shock to the system, to be sure. And yes, truly bad news for Major League Soccer here in the 2024 season. Tim Cook, the president, CEO of Apple, even tweeting before the game that he was looking forward to seeing Lionel Messi play. All eyes were on Messi. He was the baby for MLS. Last year, this year, moving forward, and they had a spectacular year, winning the Supporters' Shield, setting the points record in MLS, then stubbing their toe here in the playoffs. So, it was anticipated that you would have Messi and his friends and Miami, which has become a huge brand. You walk around the streets, you see Messi shirts, you see Messi stickers, or Miami stickers, Miami shirts, that you would have Inter Miami for the conference semifinals, conference finals, and MLS Cup. So that's 3 more rounds covering another month of the season. That's a lot. That's a lot of traffic. That's a lot of Messi. That's a lot of happy advertisers. That's a happy Apple TV and MLS. No question. That's a big miss. So it's a situation you have to go make the most of what you have. And, you know, when you look at everything that... then you look at the traffic that is caused by Inter Miami and Messi. Their capsule, the games that they air on YouTube or what have you, they get more clicks, more views than Premier League games, Champions League games. I'm being perfectly honest. They get 2-3 million. It's insane. Then you think about all the merchandise. I mean, I walk around most days, I see Inter Miami shirts, I see stickers, what you name it. And I live in Los Angeles, and it's everywhere. And Messi is, even though we're moving away from his heyday, he's in the back end of his career, no doubt about it. But let's remember, he won the 2022 World Cup, and when he comes back in 2026, as we were expecting at this point, that's going to be the biggest soccer story in the world. He is on the Mount Rushmore of celebrity. It's like Taylor Swift, LeBron James, Lionel Messi. I don't know who you put on there, but it's a select few. But Messi's on it. Messi is on it. So that's a big miss that you don't have him. And even though he's moving past his prime, this story of him losing to Atlanta United was huge here in the U.S., huge in the Americas, huge in Europe, everywhere. In Asia, Messi is bigger than life. And this was a huge moment that it was people tuning in to see him in our league, in Major League Soccer. So I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat and say it was good for the league. It wasn't. But as I'm about to break down here, when we look into the big picture of things, there is a silver lining, and some good things will come of it because of where we are in the growth of Major League Soccer, and I'll break it all down here on the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast. More episodes coming out soon. Like and subscribe us here. Check out our latest videos about the United States men's national team preparing for Nations League action against Jamaica. Very excited in a new tournament. We're excited nonetheless. But let's talk about it. It was a bad day. I saw an article, I believe it was on Forbes, blaming the playoff format, the best of 3, for why Inter Miami and Messi were knocked out. That does not make any sense to me. This playoff format was put in place to protect the higher seeds. And a lot of things don't make sense to me when I look at the articles, the journalism that we get here in the United States. We have a long way to go to match what they get across the world. There is not a lot of journalism. It's a lot of opinion. So when I see stuff like that and I see people saying that Don Garber is crying himself to sleep, Don Garber is not crying himself to sleep. I'm sure Don Garber is frustrated, but Don Garber is the commissioner of the league. He is looking out for the 29 teams that are out there. And he's also been on many rodeos in the MLS Cup Playoffs. And one thing you know about the MLS Cup Playoffs is generally they don't go to form. A couple of years it's gotten a little better where we had a Philadelphia Union LAFC final, then a Columbus LAFC final, the cream rising to the top, so to speak. But by and large, anything can happen. And we've gotten accustomed to that. And I can assure you the powers that be in the league and everyone were prepared that an Inter Miami team in their first postseason had a very good chance of missing out on the business end. I think everyone was hoping they'd at least make a conference final and not get knocked out at this very early stage. But that is the reality of these MLS Cup playoffs. And it's what makes this league different, you know? We don't have the single table. It's champion at the end. I like it. We have playoffs. I think some people enjoy it. And we see players come in here and they adjust to what the playoffs are all about. And I'm going to talk a little bit how maybe the format of MLS may change in the future because we are seeing that. And remember, Major League Soccer is a growth sport. It's not heavy growth right now. It's like, as I always say, it's growing slowly, but it's not going in the opposite direction. But there are some new elements being brought in that suggest that it might look a little bit more like what we see in Europe, etc. So we won't really be able to talk about or lean into Messi in Miami, and we won't get that traffic. That is a miss without question. But let's look a little bit closer at what this all means for the league. First and foremost, let's look at Inter Miami. Lionel Messi has one more year on his contract in 2025. So we expect the offseason to be bananas in the best possible way. That Miami is going to look at how to get this right. I don't know what that means. You know, there's been talk about Neymar coming. He wants to play. I don't know if that puts them over the top. I think they have to fix things on the other side of the field. But there is a salary cap. However, what we have learned about Inter Miami is players will come here to play, to be part of this amazing project, and maybe shave off a few things with whatever that looks like, salary, what have you. And the league may be getting closer to finding ways to help teams salary-wise to build the quote-unquote super teams. So Inter Miami is now going to head in the offseason. That's going to be fascinating for the league. And we're going to see them try and get it right next year, which is going to be a very compelling story. Now, I said he had 1 year in his contract, but I also said that it looks like he's going to play in the 2026 World Cup. He seems very happy. He is in Miami, where his family's embedded. His family's happy. I don't know this for sure. I'm just assuming. The Argentine national team is creating a base. There's a lot of Argentines. There's a Latin American. I'm from Miami. There's a lot of Argentines. They're all very happy. And Lionel Messi not being in Barcelona or in Argentina, while he can't escape the celebrity, you can escape it a little better. If he really wanted to escape it, he would move to Kansas City, but he can escape it there more than others. I get the feeling that he is happy. He loves playing football. He wants to continue to play football. So, in all likelihood, to bridge the final year of the contract to the World Cup, he's going to have to sign for one more year. But sign for 1 year, great. He'll probably sign for 2 years. You know? He is part. I mean, he has a piece of MLS. He has a piece of Apple. And with the World Cup coming, he's going to have a piece of that too. He's going to be an ambassador for the game here in the United States. And even when he stops playing, he's going to be here. Inter Miami have an incredible new stadium coming through, and there's going to be a pipeline for people that want to play here. I can assure you, players around the world are saying, I want to be part of that. They just have to deal with the heat. So Inter Miami not going anywhere, just going to get stronger. Now, for the other teams that remain, Atlanta United was the team that knocked out Inter Miami with Brad Guzan and Dax McCarty, which is a great story, by the way, if you enjoy this league. And the league does have a fan base. You can see what's going on at the stadiums. They're all filled. That wasn't the case in the past. The big issue for MLS is building the TV audience or the streaming audience, which will be with Apple. I don't know what that looks like, but there's smart people at Apple and MLS that will try and get that audience to more eyeballs in the future. But Atlanta United, let's take them for an example. This was a team that sold $50 million, Georgios Giacomakis and Thiago Almada in the offseason. Now they had this. They are going to bring in big-name players in the offseason, especially with the excitement of this playoff run, which might continue. I wouldn't bet against Atlanta United at this point. It's a great story. We like underdogs. We like upsets. This is why the MLS Cup Playoffs can provide that where others can't. So Atlanta United is going to get better, and they got great ownership. They have great ownership MLS throughout the league. So that is something that will buoy Atlanta United. The teams that got knocked out: FC Cincinnati, Columbus. Columbus is the gold standard. They got an incredible coach in Wilfred Nancy. I will mention, MLS is becoming a forum for coaches to come and play. They enjoy, or to coach, and they enjoy being here. I would focus on the British coach, because Eric Ramsey at Minnesota United and Dean Smith and Nick Cushing, in the Premier League, and Dean Smith, and maybe one day Eric Ramsey could be a Premier League coach. But those opportunities for British coaches are faded because the big clubs and the middle clubs and the lower end clubs turn their focus to foreign coaches. So this is a place where now British coaches are being happy and finding success. That's good for us because they're still very good coaches. It's not Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or Ruben Amorim, but they're still very good coaches. And if they see MLS as a place to build their profile, bring it on. It raises the standard here. More good players, more good coaches. Good news. So Columbus is going to come back because they are just a very well-run club. FC Cincinnati, great support. There is a report from Tom Bogert that they're pursuing a $15 million transfer for this Togolese striker playing in Belgium. Cincinnati and Charlotte, another team that got knocked out, there was a combined effort to bring players to MLS like Josh Sargent, Weston McKennie. There is a Dutch player whose name escapes me that was in his prime, high profile, but they're looking for guys like that in 23, 24, 25 years old. They missed on that, but eventually they're going to hit a target. And all those clubs are engaged that way. Real Salt Lake, who got knocked out in the West, same profile. Spending money, finding good players, not just in the United States, but abroad. So all of that is going to rise. Even the bad teams know that they cannot be set adrift. San Jose bringing in Bruce Arena. They're going to get better. While Bruce Arena is not going to ask for $20 million players, he's going to ask for an improved player, and San Jose is not going to waste their time with him. Chicago bringing in Greg Berhalter. They're Joe Mansueto, their owner, saying they're going to build a new stadium. This is all major money being thrust into the league outside of Miami. In the playoffs that remain, we have a New York matchup, the Red Bulls and New York City FC. New York City FC have a new stadium on the horizon. New York is a big market, so you get to feed that. There is the potential LAFC, LA Galaxy conference final. LA continues to grow, and you have a team in San Diego. I know I'm going through the whole list here, but I just want to show the width and breadth. And while the PR focuses on Messi, and they have to, there is positivity throughout many areas in the league, and it will get better. And hopefully there will be teams that I cannot guarantee it, will be interesting for the viewers to tune into. But you also got to build within the local communities, because people from Austin are going to support Austin FC, who are also in the midst of a new coach and perhaps bringing in new players. You got to build that market. You got to build LA. You got to build New York. You got to build Atlanta. You got to build Nashville. And then you got to see if it become an interesting team for an international audience, which it can be to a smaller degree. Okay, I'm going to close this here with, the talk that we had a video a while ago about MLS moving to an August spring schedule. And I think it's going to happen. And I think other things will happen to mirror the top European leagues, for instance. And there's little things that MLS tries to do to be avant-garde, which other places are imitating. More on that on future episodes. But I also want to say that promotion relegation, which to me would be a huge move down the road for MLS, because in the United States we don't have promotion relegation in any sport. But it's really interesting. I was holding that sneeze in for a few minutes. I'm sorry, I had to let it out. It's really interesting for a lot of reasons. So, one day promotion relegation will come to MLS. Not tomorrow, not in the next 2 years. One day it will, because it's different, and MLS gravitates towards that. And maybe other leagues like the NFL, Major League Baseball, will do something different, because it's cool and different. So we move on. I encourage you to tune in to the MLS Cup Playoffs. Certainly, if you're an American, it's your league. Find a team to support. There's going to be a void of Messi in Miami, but he'll be back. And it's going to be fun to see if he can finish the job. And that's to close. That's the good part, too. You showed that Lionel Messi in Miami, who is winning everything this year, that it's not that easy. That if you want to come and eat other teams' lunch, sometimes they don't want you to, and they will push back. And that's what happened. Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. Like and subscribe us here. We'll be back soon.